if people aren't responding the way that you want, have you ever considered it was you?
Here's the question. What's going on inside the minds of top achievers that cause them to make extraordinary breakthroughs both personally and professionally? My name is Tim Shurr, and I invite you to join me as we take a deep dive into the unconscious mind and discover how to transform your biggest dreams into a reality. Welcome to the How to Be Mesmerizing podcast.
I work with a company and they say we got to get our people to perform better. I'm like, great, let's start with your leaders. Let's start with you, because it works the top down, okay? If people aren't responding the way that you want, have you ever considered it was you? These people just don't want to grow. Interesting. They just don't want to do their job. You sure? Okay, that's a pretty big assumption. What I find is that you got to shift your executive team and your managers. You work there first, because that's usually where the issues are. Wherever there's a challenge, wherever there's a problem, there's an opportunity as well. I've also learned that the biggest breakthroughs are usually hidden in the places you don't want to go, which is why the breakthroughs aren't happening, because it might feel uncomfortable. But if you get more comfortable being uncomfortable for a little while, your comfort zone expands and you become more empowered. We start to make ourselves better than we really are. We start to make others worse than they really are. And then our whole view of reality gets distorted, so we start finding all these reasons, because we want to be reasonable people, so we come up with all these reasons why we are right and you are wrong. Because for me to be right, you have to be wrong. And if you go through as a leader making people feel wrong, they are never going to give you what you're looking for. And so let me give you some examples of this. You ever been driving down the road? I had a friend that lived in Chicago, and we were in his SUV, and we were in the Dan Ryan, and it was bumper-to-bumper traffic, and the car in front of him would drive about 6 inches, and then he would like hit the gas and hit the brake within 1 second, and we would go, boom, and then he would go, "You're an idiot," yelling at the guy in front of him. Okay, so he was causing that, but he didn't realize it in the moment that he was causing that. It wasn't the person in front of him that made him step on the gas and then the brake. He made that choice, even though he wasn't aware of it. Let me give you another example. So it's in the middle of the night. All of you that have kids know that your young babies turn you into zombies, right? And so it's like it's 2 or 3 in the morning. My son Max, he starts crying. You know, I'm laying there. I wake up. My wife's laying there, and the first thought I have is, go get Max, go help him out. Then I had this other idea. Why do I have to get up? And I started making myself better than I really was. I'm a good dad, I'm a good provider, I've got to work in the morning. She's probably sitting there fake sleeping. No. Now in that moment, was I being a good dad and a good father? No. Okay? But I made myself seem better than I really was, and I made others seem worse than they really were. I need to go take care of my son. And then I did. And as soon as I took care of him, I became a better father and a better husband. Okay? It can be as simple as that. What keeps us stuck is our ego. That part of us that makes us feel like we're wrong because we don't want to be wrong, because that brings up guilt and shame inside of us and then triggers that deep down fear that I'm not enough. And we don't want to feel that way, so we keep masking it. So sometimes people say, well, that's just how I feel about things, Tim. Well, that's great, but your feelings come from what you say to yourself. And most of your feelings come from past programming. So what if your view of the situation is off? Well, now how you're feeling about it is going to be off too. Right? You can change your feelings real quick. If you're mad at someone for 2 months because you think they did something that was wrong to you, and then you find out that they never did that at all, in fact they had your back, your feelings would change instantly, right? You would go from anger to you'd feel bad. Or some of us would feel bad but not do anything about it anyway because they don't want to look bad, so they just keep it in play. Does this give you one feeling? Notice this feeling. Now notice this. Does that change? Okay? Well, you're going through life every day with your energy. You're influencing people all the time, whether you know it or not, and most people don't. Is your energy going through the day like this? Or is your energy going through the day like this? It's a little tweak, but it makes all the difference. Because of our culture and constantly, every 5 seconds, getting a headline about what someone's done wrong, we don't trust each other anymore. We've always had an issue with trust. And so what we want to do is assume the best in others instead of assume the worst. Because again, whatever you give your attention to, you're going to get more of. I was doing a program for Indiana University's Business and Economics. They had a big anniversary, and I keynoted for that, and it was interesting. What I loved about it was afterwards, one of the doctors came up to me and said, you know, this was really amazing because I really pushed my kid to do his homework really hard. And when you said that you need to catch him doing things right, and you need to praise him for all the things he's done right so that he feels excited and good about it and he wants to do it more, then I wouldn't have to push him as hard. And I never knew that. All I would do was focus on what he got wrong all the time. He said, I'm going to totally change my approach with my son. And I was like, yes.
Hey, would you like more free tips on how to be a mesmerizing leader? Then check out mesmerizingleadership.com and also hang out with me on Facebook, facebook.com/Tim Shurr. Thanks so much and make your day a sure success.